Okay, ladies, so hi, good morning. Sorry for the echo, but I am in the bathroom. And basically, a lot of you have been asking about brush cleaning. And I did a short little video kind of a long time ago, and I figured, you know what, it really is time for an update. So, I have a few things here. First, I have olive oil. You can use any oil that you want. I like olive oil, or coconut oil would probably be the absolute best, but I haven't gotten any yet. And this is for anything that is gel-based or wax-based that you need to pre-treat. For instance, in my last post, I told you about going to Oregon for a wedding. So I have quite a few brushes that I need to clean, ones that have concealer on them, ones that have eyeliner, a gel-based eyeliner, and then a wax-based lipstick. Now, olive oil does not clean these brushes, but it pre-treats them so that you can wash them better. If you just use the cleansing solution, this kind of stuff will not come off, or it will not come off as easily. So what you do is, I have all the brushes that I need to clean right here. And I have a few towels. I use one towel for when they're all finished and I want to dry them on a nice clean towel. So we're going to put this to the side because we're not even at that point yet. I have a large towel for when I need to wipe them off. A large towel because I have so many brushes and I'm going to need lots of different spots in order to wipe them off. So let's go ahead and get started. My fun Ben Nye lip brush, and here is the olive oil. One thing that is still true from my last video is I never touch the bottom of these. I never touch the bottom of the container because, like I was saying before, if you put your foot into a lake and you touch the bottom, the mud and sand and whatever kind of swirls up all over the place. That's the same thing with product. If you do not touch the bottom though and just kind of stick it halfway in, then what happens is you don't make all of your solution all murky and stuff. So as soon as you're done, you just put it on your towel and go back and forth. Okay, and it's going to look like that. Obviously we got most of our product off here. It's getting a little bit lighter, but it's still there. And with wax-based things, I find I need to push a little bit harder with my brushes. So I'm going to do a little tiny bit more. I'm going to let it soak in just a little bit. And I'm going to start pushing again. Okay. And when it's like that, pretty much clear on that thing, I'm going to put that one aside. And this other towel that I use, it's a real short one, and I put the pre-treated ones over here. Some of these I can just disinfect with my normal cleansing solution. Some of them need to be pre-treated. So the ones that need to be pre-treated and are ready to go, I put over there. So this one had concealer on it. So I'm going to put it in there, let it go around a little bit, and do the same thing. Just rub it back and forth until it's relatively clear. Now my cleansing solution, when I first bought it, came from MAC, and it came in this. And now, I mean, this one's empty, so I need to refill it. I'm going to go to my recipe for my homemade cleanser, and I'm going to just put more in here. Now, my homemade cleanser makes enough to where it would fill this, and this is 7.9 ounces, so it's almost 8 ounces. I have enough to put in here, and then to put a little bit in a spritzer bottle, because these mops, I'm going to want to spritz and wipe off, instead of putting it in the whole solution and having it suck up everything. It's kind of a waste. So sometimes I put my brushes into sections, the ones that need to be pre-treated, all the larger mops. You know, this one though with foundation, this needs to be pre-treated though, so I'll leave that down. That one I use the Sonia Kashuk. Do you guys remember that one? I use that for a cream blush sometimes and also for mixing foundations. So that one also needs to stay there. So my mops, I'll put in a different spot. And I'm just going to keep going with pre-treated items, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now I have all of my pre-treated brushes over here, and I've used about that much of my very long towel. I'm going to, and I had folded it over behind like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over this way. Okay, this next part is very much like the pre-treated ones, as I'm going to take a brush, I'm going to tilt it down, go all the way down and touch the bottom. And then just go back and forth. Sometimes I swirl. Okay. Now the reason that we use this solution, and it's my homemade solution, if you need directions on that, go to the sidebar in What Are You Looking For and look up Homemade Brush Cleanser. There are disinfecting properties in this. There's conditioning properties, just overall cleaning properties. But you'll notice I only dip it in once because I have a second cleansing system as well. Plus these brushes that I'm using, if you'll notice, I don't know if you can see that, but there really just wasn't that much on here. I'm really loving these Sigma brushes. They're holding up so nicely. And they're so much cheaper than the MAC ones. Now I still have some more solution left, and I don't necessarily want to waste that, but like I said before, the mops just completely soak it up. But I don't mind for a couple of them because I do want to use this up. I've already dipped brushes in there, so I can't necessarily, you know, put it back into my cleansing solution bottle. So I'll do a couple brushes where I dip them in there, the smaller ones. And my solution's already gone just from using those two. But this one still has stuff on it, but it's okay. I said before I have a double cleansing process. For these bigger mops is I'll spritz them. And just basically do the same thing. Try and get as much product out back and forth as you can. Spritz again when needed. You can smell that lovely rubbing alcohol that is going to kill all of the germs that are on these brushes. So I have this zoomed in on my sink. Isn't it lovely? No judging if there are some spots in there. But I wanted to show you the second process that I use. I have found that Clearasil is one of the best products to double cleanse my brushes after they are now pre-treated and disinfected. This gets it so white. If you'll notice right here, this brush, can you see? It still has a little bit of brown. It's been disinfected, and as I'm wiping it off, it appears that no product is coming off, but I can see that there is something there. So what I'm gonna do, and usually to save water, is I'll take a whole bunch of these and get some and rub them and make sure to get everything off. But just for right now, I'd like to show you just this one. You can kind of see some brown stuff still left in there. I'm going to take a teeny tiny bit. This is even probably too much for this brush. I'm going to wet it. And then I'm just going to have it sudsy, just like you would do your hair. And then, yeah, see, that was way too much. Get that all off. And that's it, and you'll notice, let's turn that off for a second, that it's completely white again. I hope that's coming up on the computer or on the camera because it's just super, super white. So now let me show you what I do. I grab mostly white ones. This will probably do nicely. I squeeze out. That's going to get all of them. That even might be too much, so what I'll do is I'll put some off in the lid right there. start them off. I notice a lot on this 187 that it gets really, really white. See a huge difference. But I just pull them up. You know, your brushes are really an investment and you need to take good care of them. See? And there we go. All nice and white again. And just do that with every single one of your brushes. Now sometimes your brushes will require more than one washing of the Clearasil. I put this one aside on purpose because it needed to be washed again. These bristles are so long that you want to make sure that you get inside those bristles, especially at the base, but how do you do it without really messing up your brush? And I'm going to show you that. So get some of your Clearasil, have it splatter all over you. Get this a little bit wet, squeeze out a little bit of the excess. Just rub the top, rub the sides, and kind of push on the outsides. This will start to, the bristles will start to warm up and be more willing for you to do this. But I open it up in the middle like that, and I kind of take my fingers like this and get in there. Or sometimes with my thumb, if my thumb has more. And just make sure that the bristles are all pointing upwards so you're not bending them in a way that would be unnatural for them. And just kind of go like this, get right down in there. And then when you're washing it off, okay, that's hot. When you're washing it off, do the same thing and just kind of rub inside. And just make sure that at the very end when you're finished washing your brush, after you've gotten all the inside out, that you kind of wash it like this so all the bristles will go the same way. And as soon as then, I just squeeze out the extra water. And I've already laid out my clean towel over here, the one that we had kind of put to the side. Now most of these brushes have a wooden base, and if we were to let them dry like this, the water would eventually kind of come down in here, and over time your bristles, or not your bristles, I'm sorry, but your handles will rot because they are wooden. So what I do is I kind of go like this, and I'm not getting the bristles, I'm getting the bottoms of them right now just to get most of the excess moisture off. And then individually, I'll go like this and rub it. Make sure I get it and put it to the end of the line. Pinch the bristles and just really make sure that that's nice and dry. And I'll be right back and show you my next step. Okay, so my brushes are all clean and all the excess moisture is off of them. They're laying here on a nice clean towel. And if some of you will think back to when you have washed your brushes, you'll notice with some of them that they tend to fray a little bit and they come out. And this is not because you have done anything wrong. I mean, even if you go like this a couple times, they still come out on the sides. And that's where this comes into play. These are the brush guards. These are something that I've mentioned quite a few times, and they stretch out. They're amazing. They're almost like those little Chinese finger games that you put your fingers in, and look at that, I can't even get it out. And they come in lots of different shapes and sizes. I have most of these. These are the medium ones because they fit the 239, the 217, the 224s, and the Sigma E40s. So I really like these a lot, but I do have larger ones. And what I do is, let me make sure you guys can see this correctly. Okay, yeah. I stick it from the bottom, and this is after I've made sure that excess moisture is off. But it just snugly fits on your brushes just like that. Keeps all the fibers going the right way. And then I don't lay it like this now, but I still lay it on its side until it's finished drying. So I'll put this over here. I have another large one, and I'll do that for this brush as well. Kind of go like that. And it's just so stinking nice. And these ones stretch quite a bit. So this one is a smaller version, but it could still fit on this brush, for instance. Just very, very snugly. I don't have one for every single brush. I don't need one for every single brush, but the ones that I found that tend to fray the most are these blending brushes. So the 217s, the 224, the E40 from Sigma, which is basically the 224. The ones that I use for lip brushes, I just use my clean fingers and I reshape it. And this one doesn't need anything else done to it. The one I use for my eyebrows, I just reshape it. Needs nothing else. The one that I use for liner, these don't fray. So you'll notice I'm weeding out quite a few brushes that don't need the brush guard so that I can save the ones that I do have for the ones that really do need it. And as soon as they're dry, I sometimes take off the ones that I need to use for these ones. So I'll let these dry as best as they can and reshape them as best as I can. Take out some of the ones that are sticking up. And then these ones will be next in line. This one doesn't need one, I just need to reshape it. It usually takes about an hour or two for them to dry. Sometimes I'll do them at night so that they can just dry overnight, which is really nice. But that's basically what I do with my brushes. That's how I wash them and how I dry them. And you should be washing your brushes at least once a week. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. But that is how I wash my brushes. Talk to you guys later. Bye.